This video is sponsored by Grow Therapy. Mariah Carey's The Roof, Back in Time, should have been on this soundtrack. You know, let's talk about it. If I could go back in time to 2015, I would tell Barry Jenkins, I would fight to make sure that song is on the roster. It's only right. Moonlight is a 2016 coming-of-age drama written and directed by Barry Jenkins, based on an unpublished, semi-autobiographical play by Terrell Alvin McCraney called In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. The film stars Trevante Rhodes, Andre Holland, Janelle Monáe in her first role, Ashton Sanders, Jarrell Jerome, Naomi Harris, and Mahershala Ali. With a runtime of 111 minutes, the film had a small budget around $1.5 million and grossed $66.7 million at the box office. Set in Miami, the story's broken into 3 parts representing 3 stages of our protagonist's life, starting in childhood, into adolescence, and finally adulthood. Oh yeah, did I mention that this was a gay film?
Get the f off the TV. I'm not watching that.
Yeah, baby, this story is about a gay black man, and it won Best Picture. The gag of the century, boy, I tell you, you know, not only did this get 8 nominations, and it won 3 of those, Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor for Mahershala, who not only had less than 20 minutes of screen time, but also became the first Muslim to win an acting Oscar. And the third award won was Best Adapted Screenplay. And at that point, the 89th Oscar ceremony, he was only the 4th black man nominated for Best Director. 89 years, the 4th one. Joy McMillan became the first black woman to be nominated for an editing Oscar. Love that. But above all of what I just said, this really was a special moment because Moonlight has a black director, it has black origins, black writers, you know, and it's an all black cast. Yeah, all black cast. Yeah. If you're not in the world of film or need a refresher, at the 89th Oscar ceremony during the presentation of Best Picture, La La Land was announced, but the winner was actually Moonlight.
We lost, by the way, but, you know.
Guys, I'm sorry. No, there's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
Moonlight, Best Picture.
So how does this happen? There are 2 people who are responsible for counting the votes, and both of them know at the end in advance who is the winner, and each have a full set of envelopes with cards containing the winner's names, just in case something happens to the other set. And those 2 people from accountancy firm PwC stand on either side of the stage and hand the envelopes to the presenters just before they step out. So right after Emma Stone won Best Actress, the other Best Actress envelope was handed to Warren Beatty, who's presenting the Best Picture prize. I rewatched the clips from that night, and I'm gonna say it because white men don't put fear in my heart. Fucking Jimmy Kimmel, who was the host that night, by the way, smooth pissing me off. When they announced there was a mess up, the third speech was pretty much done, and Jimmy is up there trying to control the situation. Ain't doing shit, talking about, I think you guys should just keep the award. What?
I think you guys should keep it anyway.
Then he's like, you know what? Why can't we just give everybody an award tonight? Shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
I would like to see you get an Oscar anyway. Why can't we just give out a whole bunch of them?
I'm going to be really proud to hand this to my friends from Moonlight.
That's nice of you. That's very nice.
I'm going to be very nice. I'm going to be very nice. I'm going to be very nice, and I'm going to be very respectful, but I feel some type of way about this.
You're not funny with your stale, miserable face. Why does he always look like he's like sad and depressed? Well, he probably is. A lot of rich people are depressed. Whatever. I don't care. What did Reese Witherspoon say in Big Little Lies? She was like, I don't give a fuck about homeless people.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care about fucking homeless
people.
That's how I feel. I don't give a f about rich people. I don't know. That left a bitter taste. Like that, you know, why can't we give everybody an award? It's so, you know, I think we all sing, you know, it's very much that. I think we all should win. Like, I'm gonna smack the, yo, get somebody get him off my screen. If not for Will Smith smacking Chris Rock in the face years later, this still would have been the most shocking event to happen at the Oscars. And what a shame, because this whole mess up really ruined the filmmakers of Moonlight's time to shine, in my opinion. Anyway, go grab a do-rag, get a brush so you can, you know, do your wave checks, get your flies chain. Might want to get some tissues too, because you might cry a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Before we dive into this week's film, allow me to take a second to tell you about this week's sponsor, Grow Therapy. You guys know my sign off, okay? Take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of your spirit. And what is a way to do that? By getting your butt in therapy. Grow Therapy works with over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid. Sessions average around $21, with some people paying as little as $0, depending on the type of plan they have. I personally have used this platform in the past, and I currently use it today. I love what they stand for. I love the aesthetic, its UI. It's very, very user-friendly, very flexible. The filters are extremely customizable. And most of all, for me, you can book appointments in as little as 2 days, even on nights and weekends. Therapists can be filtered by identity, gender, language, faith, and more. There's options for virtual or in-person sessions. Like, come on, man, it doesn't get better than that. Oh, and there's also medication management. You can connect with a licensed psychiatrist if you're also looking for medication treatment. To learn more about Grow Therapy, hit the link in my description or scan the QR code on the screen to get that support and find a therapist.
You gonna keep selling me rocks?
The film opens very tastefully, playing Every Nigga is a Star. Every nigga is a star. We meet a grown man named Juan, and if I had to describe Juan in 7 words, I would say drug dealer with a heart of gold. He checks in on one of his employees, Terrence, who's clocked in. You know, he's asking how mama's doing, you know. And while walking back to the whip, a group of young boys run past him chasing a kid, calling him F-slurs, presumably about to beat him up. Now we switch POVs and follow this kid that's being chased. He runs all the way to this abandoned crack apartment building, going in a room. All the kids have sticks in their hands and they're banging on the door. He's covering his ears, scared to death. They even go around the back and start throwing things at him. Yo, where the my belt at? Like, why is it ever that serious? I want to hug this kid so bad. He's on the ground covering his head, and he starts hearing knocking, watching 2 hands tear down a plank of wood, and it's Juan. Juan asks Lil Man what's he doing in here, and the kid is scared at first, as we all would be. Stranger danger. But, you know, as I said like a minute ago, Juan has a heart of gold. Like, there is truly nothing intimidating about this man. He's smiling and tells the homie he's about to get something to eat, and he's welcome to join.
It's okay if I take the front door.
So again, this film is split up into 3 acts through our protagonist's life, and this first act is called Little. Supreme Jubilee's It'll All Be Over starts playing as we see Juan and Little at a diner. Little has not told this stranger his name, he hasn't told him where he lives, but what he is going to do is eat that food in front of him. And that's something that is a little reoccurring character thing. Juan doesn't want Slim running around these dope holes and needs to know where he lives so he can take him home. So he slides the tray away, but Little shuts down, so he starts laughing, pushing it back like, hey, okay, you got it. I'm not gonna do you like that. He even holds his hand out and apologizes to make a truce, but Little doesn't say anything or react. So Juan actually took this kid home since he doesn't know where to drop him off at, and he tells Little he's gonna go grab his girl so she can get him to talk. And this is when we meet Juan's girlfriend, Teresa, played by the queer icon, Miss Janelle Monáe. That's my baby. All we see is Teresa get in the car and watch Little, who, again, doesn't say a word, and we just sit with them until we cut and it's nighttime. I told y'all Lil Man won't say a word, but what he is gonna do is eat. Teresa fixed him a whole plate of food, which looks like chicken and mashed potatoes. Juan's pointing out exactly what I said. You know, you don't speak much, but you sure can eat. And Teresa's like, oh, that's okay. He can speak when he's good and ready.
My name is Chiron.
People call me little.
Oh, finally. I love the tenderness and the respect, because as soon as he says his real name, Teresa says, well, I'm gonna call you by your God-given name, Chiron. He lives in Liberty City with his mother, and when they ask about his daddy, he puts his head in his hand. They ask Chiron if he wants to go home, and he straight up says no, so Teresa asks if he wants to stay here tonight, and he nods yes. I know that boy got some quality R&R, because that was probably the most peaceful sleep he's had in a long time. The next day, Juan takes Chiron home, and we meet his mother, Paula, who rushes up from her car asking why didn't he come home like he was supposed to. Now, Paula thanks Juan for looking after him, but it's very clear that she does not really trust this man. She's definitely profiling him based on like the do-rag and like what he's wearing. And when Juan says bye to Chiron, she pulls him back. Like, damn, let me say bye to the homie. Inside, Paula's lecturing her son on coming home when he's supposed to, showing comfort, but he does not give a damn. Getting up to cut the TV on, and she's like, TV privileges are revoked, so go find something to read. Another day, a bunch of kids are playing with a DIY soccer ball. What the hell is this? Chiron is very much left out and walks off by himself, but a kid starts running towards him. This is Kevin. So it begins. My heart. Kevin's asking why Chiron left early, and Chiron notices the side of Kevin's face bleeding.
What? You're funny, man.
We all know what that means. Kevin's circling around Shy asking, man, why you let all these other kids pick on you? And you know what this kid says? I love this line. He's like, man, all you gotta do is show them niggas you ain't soft. Chiron says, I'm not soft, and Kevin pushes him saying, well, that don't matter if they don't know. So Chiron tackles him and the boys start playfully wrestling, laying in the grass next to each other for a few beats, and Kevin gets up saying, I knew you weren't soft, and they race each other off into the field. When Juan gets home, Chiron is sitting right on his lawn waiting for him. What the hell done happened now, little man? When we cut, we're now at the Miami beach and Juan takes his shirt off. Slow down, baby. I'm looking respectfully. And we get possibly the most iconic and most popular visual in this film. They're in the water and Juan takes Chiron's head, holding him up, telling him to focus.
That right there, you're in the middle of the world, man.
Then he starts swaying his arms and showing Chiron how to swim, and he's successful. I feel like both of them are water signs. Like Juan is definitely, he could, I want to say Scorpio. He could be a Scorpio or a Cancer. Chiron is a Pisces. Let's get that straight.
What do you mean by that? Say?
By the way, Mahershala is actually teaching Alex Hibbert how to swim in this scene. The homies are watching the water, and Juan's telling Shy to remember that there are black people everywhere. We were the first on the planet, and there's nowhere you can go where there aren't any. Now, Daddy Juan is from Cuba, and he was just like little Chiron, you know, running around, crazy kid, dreams.
I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block. Crazy little girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams and shit.
Right.
But no, for real, you know, he was running around without his shoes, running around in the moonlight. And one time he ran by this old woman who stopped him and said, running around, catching up all that light.
In Moonlight, black boys look blue. You blue. That's why I gonna call you.
Chiron is furrowing his eyebrows like, so your name Blue? And Juan laughs, clarifying, no. So what's the point of this little short story? Let's ring it all in. By the way, we're about 20 minutes into the film at this point, and this next line is very, very important. I want you to just store it in your head for the rest of this plot breakdown. Juan tells Chiron, at some point you gotta decide for yourself who you're gonna be. You can't let nobody make that decision for you. When he drops Chiron off home, he holds his fist out, telling him to pick a hand. And when Shy taps Juan's right, money appears. We are not sure how much though. Chiron knocks on the door, Paula swings it open, pulls him in, and then slams it. This woman has clearly been doing drugs with how frantic she is, rushing to the table where her guest did. Who the f is this? Grabbing a paper bag and a bunch of illegal substances, screaming at her man to come into the bedroom with her. One evening at school, Chiron comes into a classroom seeing Kevin and a bunch of their male classmates comparing sizes. Yes, I know. Boys will be boys. Chiron walks in and Kevin is stressing because he swore he thought the door was locked. Then he puts his arm around Chiron and Chiron joins in on the event. Juan revisits his employee we met earlier in the film who has an unhappy customer. But the problem is that this customer only walks maybe about 100 feet away and hops in his car to light up, and we not gonna have nobody lighting up on the spot. So we follow Juan, who is approaching the car, and we can start to feel that we are about to see another side to him.
Yo, what's up?
Miss Jackson.
This sets him off. Juan rushes to the passenger, snatching Paula out the car, cussing up a storm, telling her to get out of here. And Paula's like, oh, so you gonna raise my son now, huh? When Juan comes back saying, you know, are you gonna raise him? This woman says, you gonna keep selling me rocks? Oh my God, I thought this was a classy party. She lights up and takes a hit in front of him, blowing it in his face, talking more shit.
Motherfucker.
Asking Juan if he notices the way that Chiron walks, switching left and right, poking fun at his sexuality, and she is very much aware of why kids pick on him. And she's like, you gonna tell him why that happens? But Juan doesn't say anything. This next scene is cinematic excellence, no dialogue. Chiron and Paula have a stare off in the hallway with this incredible score, this pink light emulating behind her from her bedroom, the look on his face. This is all happening in slow motion, and we watch Paula scream something inaudibly, then give her son a hard stare walking into her room. The next morning, there's loud knocking at the door, and Juan comes out his room with the strap ready to handle business, but it's only Teresa's boyfriend, Chiron. Teresa asks if he's gonna talk to her today, and when he doesn't respond, she's like, that's fine, I don't want to talk to you anyway. So black. I love it. When Juan asks Shy if he walked all the way here, again, this child doesn't say anything. So Juan's like, okay, first of all, you can't sit at my table like that. But he's not about to get stern. You know, like he didn't flip the switch on him because, you know, you came in my house, you're not talking. What he means is you can't sit with your back to the door because you always need to know when somebody is creeping up on you. Juan tells Chiron he saw Paula last night, and Chiron says,
I hate her.
Me too, Chiron. Not my mama, but I hate your mama. Juan admits he hated his own mom too, but she's gone and he misses her like hell, and that's all he's gonna say about that. Then Teresa comes in bringing everybody orange juice, and woo, oh, I flinched. Not gonna lie, I always forget about this line, but like I was watching the movie for the first time again.
What's a faggot?
Okay,
Oh. I love that Juan keeps it real though, and he doesn't say, oh, it's just a bad word that you shouldn't be using, but he repeats the word and he says that it's a bad word people use to make gay people feel bad. When Chiron asks if he's a faggot, Juan immediately says no, telling him you can be gay, but don't let anybody call you a faggot. After Chiron asks how will he know, the couple tell him that he'll know when he knows. And Juan clarifies that you don't have to know right now. Chiron asks Juan if he sells drugs, and I mean, damn, again, because Juan is a real ass he says yes. No lying. I love to see it. By the way, Chiron knows his mother does drugs, so Juan confirming he sells it does it for him, and Chiron gets up from the table, leaving Juan silent crying as Teresa comforts him.
Hit that shit, Kevin. Hit it with that big dick.
The way this film time jumps is by bringing the film's title score faintly playing while on the screen we see a blinking light in the dark. This one is blue. These light flashes are actually an out-of-focus digital time code from a camera slate. During filming, all the actors were sprayed with oil so that their skin would shine on camera, and the crew would hold the running slate against the lens to protect it from the sprays. And Barry saw the out-of-focus time code on his view monitor and decided to add it in the film to represent time moving forward. Teen Chiron is in class being called out by his teacher for not paying attention, and this ugly ass bug looking buster with dirty ass dusty ass dreads says Chiron's gotta change his tampon. This is Terrell. Chiron tells Timu Lil Wayne to piss off, and he's like, what you gonna do? I'll f you up. Unfortunately, the bullying never got better, my friends. Terrell bumps into Chiron in the hallway saying he's gonna be waiting for him, and they sure are, you know, right in that courtyard. He's trying to prepare himself to boss up, but that's when Teen Kevin comes up behind him with the ashiest f***ing lips I've ever seen. Somebody please give this baby a jar of Vaseline. God damn. Chiron lies saying that he had detention and that's why he's still here, even though school is over. And Kevin reveals he also had detention because he was caught with the shorty on the stairwell.
Look, I just wanted some quick hair, you know? But this chick all like hit that shit, Kevin. Hit it with that big dick.
Hey yo, look at Chiron's face, he's so uncomfortable. Kevin tells him not to tell anyone, which Chiron confirms, oh you know I won't.
I know you can keep a secret, dog.
don't know, y'all. They was holding each other's hands a second too long now. And when he says bye to him, like, I don't know, the way, is it the way you love? Hold on. Me, baby. Kevin is hiding something, I'm telling y'all.
See, Black.
I didn't point it out, but in the classroom when Terrell was picking on Chiron, he had used his famous nickname when he was smaller, Little. And Chiron was like, my name is not Little, it's Chiron. And that's playing into these chapters. So we're starting to, you get it. It's coming together. Right after this reunion from the boys, we get our second title card, appropriately titled Chiron. This is crazy. The first thing Paula says to him when he gets in the house is her shaking her head no, and she's like, you can't be in the house tonight because I got company coming over. What the hell? Who says that to a teenager? Their teenager. So he goes to his real home, visiting Teresa. She lets him stay the night, showing him how to make up his own bed. And hours later, he wakes up hearing waves crashing, getting out of bed, hearing moaning, and he finds Kevin raw dogging a girl. What the helly? Side note, love this lighting. Oh my God. The next day, Chiron is walking down the street and I can't laugh. It's not funny. It's not funny.
Hey, baby. Where'd you go last night?
Mama is drugged out, asking Chiron, why didn't you just come home? She's running around the house. What is going on? Then she asks him for money. She's like, I'm not feeling good and I need something to help me out. Mama knows everything, okay? She knows Teresa's giving him money and she starts screaming, shoving her hand in his pockets, and Chiron breaks, slapping it in her hands.
I know that bitch like a hook and nowhere trick.
Oh, I'm gonna have to steal that one. She's like, you tell that bitch you my son. Don't you forget it. This happens the morning after she told him to go find somewhere to hang out, by the way, so Chiron is about to run upstairs to his room, but Paula tells him he's late to school. Girl, you expect me to go to school after watching you have a Tweak episode and you forcing me to give you money? No. In biology class, I'm only guessing it's biology. Okay, I'm not an academic. I'm an artist. Terrell is giving Chiron looks like he got a problem, and after school this crusty Negro and his goon roll up on Shy. Shy's telling these clowns he's going home, but they point out that they know he lives the opposite way and they know he's going to Teresa's house. We officially learn from Terrell after he sexualizes Teresa that Juan has been dead for a few years, and this next line, I don't know, y'all, I probably would have stabbed Slim up. Terrell asks if Teresa gives free head or if she charges like Paula does. Someone please give Chiron a knife. London style. Get the London look. Terrell continues insulting his mother, and at one point Chiron gets a little buck too, but it fails. They start asking why his jeans are so tight. Tight? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't fit 12 bags of Doritos in my pants. Excuse me. Poor baby. He does like this half buck when the bullies are gone. The sun's gone down. Chiron takes multiple trains, falling asleep at the station just to pass time, and while visiting the beach, look who shows up. Kevin. Here we go, y'all. The boys are sitting on the beach under the moonlight talking, and once again, Kev calls Chiron Black, which is the nickname he gave him after he told him the story of him banging that chick on the stairwell.
Hit it with that big dick.
And Chiron's asking Kevin, like, why did you call me that? What guy goes around giving other guys nicknames? Kev pretty much tells baby boy to shut up and smoke this fat one with him, telling Shy it won't bite. Oh, I bet it won't. Chiron admits Paul has left a lot of stuff around the crib, so he experimented, and that's where his smoking experience has came from. God only knows what other substances he smoked, like, other than Mary Jane Watson. Like, are you smoking crack? Are you smoking crack? Cocaine? Chiron? Huh? This grass is acting fast, boy. Kevin starts talking about how much he loves the ocean breeze and how sometimes you can catch it over the hood. Makes you want to stop in time and appreciate the moment. Makes you want to cry. As for our protagonist, he has a vulnerable moment saying that he cries so much sometimes he feels like he's gonna turn into drops. As the small talk continues, Kevin catches Chiron cursing, which is something that he's never done around him. So he grabs Shy's shoulder like, oh, you trying to get smart with me. You trying to get smart with me. Woo! Oh my, the look he is giving this dude right now. What did Heath Ledger do in Brokeback Mountain? Phew. Chiron hesitates for a second, but starts leaning in, hesitating once more, but they share a light kiss and both pull back. But then we see Kevin go back in. initiating it once more, and he starts unbuckling Chiron's belt. The camera cuts behind them and we see Chiron's hands moving through the sand. This feels too intimate, like let him have his moment. We should not be watching this, guys. When Chiron's rocket blasts off, he apologizes.
What you gotta be sorry for?
Oh, word? Kevin drives him home and they keep stealing looks at each other. There should have been a shot of them holding hands while he was driving. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I don't care. When Chiron thanks him for the ride, Kevin says, "No problem, Black. I'll see you around." And their hands lock for a few seconds too long. At lunch, Chiron sees Kevin eating by himself and almost joins him, but that ugly f*** Terrell takes his spot. Dusty Drez is hollering at Kev, reminding him about a game they used to play as kids. Not that one, but some game where they would give a kid a beat down. He's pretty much testing our little closeted Kevin, saying, you know, if I tell you to knock somebody down, you gonna do it? And scared Kevin anxiously agrees. Chiron walks out the cafeteria and we cut to Terrell, who's walking in a circle like a shark until he stands behind Kevin, and Kevin stands before Chiron. Ugh, I hate this. Terrell is telling Kevin to hit him, calling him the F slur, and just as we suspect, Kevin punches Chiron right in the face. The bullies are egging him on to continue, and Terrell's telling Kevin if Chiron keeps getting up, knock him down. And at this point, Kevin is like not even low key, like high key, telling Chiron like, stay down. You know, like I'm not like, you better stay down. Like, no, for real, stay down. Like, stay down. I don't want to hit you. But Chiron keeps getting up, and it's, I don't know. I think you can read it two ways. You can read it as him genuinely not wanting to look like a punk and stand his ground and say that I can take this beating. But then you can also read it as him getting up because maybe he feels like he deserves this. It's so horrible, man. And to make it all worse, all of the bullies start stomping on him. Jesus Christ. Chiron's got an ice pack to his face, blood all over his nose, cuts on his forehead. See, now we would have had to take this to the spiritual. Go grab my book of shadows in the closet. It's in the little black treasure chest. Yeah, right. Yeah, move the J's out the way. The principal's telling Chiron that if he doesn't press charges, then they can't stop this from happening. But he's shaking his head saying that she doesn't understand and starts full on sobbing. The next day at school, homeboy's got a pep in his step, walking like a pimp, and Chiron walks all the way to homeroom where... Chiron is restrained, he gets cuffed by the cops and locks eyes with his baby boy Kevin on his way out. Nah, cause why my homeboy get locked up for defending himself after these niggas fucking stomped him out? They could have cracked his ribs. They could have killed him. But oh, he tapped this fool. He tapped Timu Lil Wayne on the shoulder with a little chair, and y'all want to send him to the big house. Right, man. F the system.
You're the only man that's ever touched me.
A blinking red light takes us into our final time jump as we go back to that hallway scene where Paula screams at Little.
Don't look at me!
Now who the hell is who is the hold on. Who is this?
When the scene unfolds, just good. That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Our first visual that Chiron has now followed in Juan's footsteps is him waking up with that do-rag wrapped the same way Juan had his. But you know what else? He drives a vintage car just like his father figure did. Chiron picks up one of his employees who asks, where the hoes at? But we all know the secret. Ain't no hoes around here. Maybe some homies. And we get our third chapter title, Black. This fine ass chocolate dropper has come a long way, okay? New body, new attitude, right on Juan's footsteps, making a living from selling drugs. You grew up fine as hell, Chiron, but you weren't supposed to go down this route. Black wakes up in the middle of the night to a call from Paula, which he ignores. But the love hasn't completely sailed. He's got a picture of him and Mama on the nightstand. Black sticks his face in the freezer, lifting weights, doing push-ups, and off screen a voicemail from Paula plays. The homie is now in Atlanta. He hasn't seen Paula in a hot minute. And when he gets back in bed, the phone rings again. So he immediately picks it up, telling Paula that, you know, I'm going to come see you soon. But...
Hey, Chiron, it's Kevin.
Oh shit, nah. Kevin says he got his number from Teresa and he asks Black if he remembers him.
Girl.
You know damn well he ain't forget you. I was not playing when I said The Roof Back in Time needed to be in the soundtrack, okay? Even though that song came out 20 years before this movie was released, I don't care, okay? In my head, Mariah wrote it for them. It wasn't raining yet, but it was definitely a little misty on that November night. Black tells his old boo he's lived in Atlanta ever since you know what happened. When he knocked Timu Lil Wayne out. Kevin apologizes for how everything went down, saying that he's now a cook, admitting he had to holler at his old homie because they have a jukebox at the diner, and there's a man that comes in frequently who reminds Kevin of Black. And he tells Blickety Blickety Black, you know, if you ever visit home, come holla, you know?
I'll cook you something. Maybe play that song for you.
Oh my God, stop. I'm gonna get emotional. Boy, as soon as that phone call ends, we can see everything rushing back to the surface. Black lays his head back in the bed, envisioning Kevin having a smoke outside. It's okay, baby. Go ahead. Go on ahead and touch yourself. We ain't gonna look. The next morning comes, pun intended, and I done told this fool to touch himself and get it out of his system, but he did nothing of the sort. And you know what happens when you don't get it out of your system? It's gonna find a way out. Because Mr. Blickety Black wakes up with an accident in his boxers. I have to say the casting of Chiron was done very well in all stages. Barry said in the behind the scenes featurette that all three actors playing Chiron never met during production, allowing them to build their own persona of Chiron during these stages of his life, and Barry didn't want any influence from the other portrayals. And the same technique was used with all the actors who played Kevin. Black visits Paula, who's been spending her recent days in rehab, and unfortunately she's not getting out anytime soon. She says it herself, you know, this is home now, and she's allowed to be in the facility and still work, so as long as she's helping others, she's staying out of trouble. Paula quite triggers Black, asking if he's still in the streets, and my man is 2 seconds from leaving, but sits back down when she starts breaking down, admitting that she f***ed up hard, but his heart doesn't need to be black like hers. She starts repeatedly telling her son that she loves him and he doesn't have to love her, and Lord knows she did not have love for him when he needed the most. Oh, this scene, brilliant acting. Black silently crying and then slickly trying to wipe it away like a man. So good. After he helps Paula light a cigarette because she keeps shaking, she now bursts into tears, apologizing for all the pain she's caused him, and they hug. That night, Black visits Kevin's diner, putting a shirt on to hide the guns, doing a wave check, making sure the chocolate bar look right. Oh, you look right, don't worry. What time you gonna be back? All right, go ahead. Walk slow. Immediately when he opens the diner door, the bell dings and Aretha Franklin's One Step Ahead begins playing. Come on, symbolism. It takes a while for Kevin to realize who this built chocolate swole muscle bar is, and he immediately goes around the corner to dap him up into a hug, which lasts just like every other encounter, a little bit too long. Oof, ooh boy, those feelings are coming back, boy. He tells Black to pick anything off the menu, or he can hit him with a chef special. You know daddy wants a chef special, what you got? When I tell you this Joker's about to whip this food up like he's fixing a plate for Genghis Khan, man. So he makes Black a signature Cuban dish and he asks him if he wants a drink, but Black says that he doesn't drink. Kevin rolls his eyes, walking away while Black takes out his gold plate, and when Kev returns, he's got a bottle in his hand. And I know that's right. I ain't seen you in a decade. Shit, we gon' drink and then cuddle later. Although Black said he doesn't drink, he downs that half cup of red wine like it's water. His excuse for not drinking is because he says that it doesn't affect him, and I feel like we are hinting at some past alcohol abuse problems. Possibly. Kev leaves the table to check on another guest, catching glimpses of his baby before turning on a tune called Our Love by The Edge of Daybreaks. Again, the symbol. Yeah, I love this movie. I do. Like, he's so romantic, guys. I don't know, like I just get nervous when I'm around. I get nervous when I'm around you, baby. So Kevin pours more wine for them, asking Black if he remembers a girl named Samantha, then pulls out his wallet and shows a picture of a boy.
What the hell is...
What in the call me by your name is this? Okay, one, this came out the year before that movie. Let's get that straight. And two, there was no kid in that movie, only a marriage. Plus, this was just, Kevin wasn't married to Samantha. There was just a relationship. But still, you traitor. By the way, during the phone call when Kevin had called Black, he had told him, just like Blickety Blickety Black did, he served a jail time. And when he got out, this diner had welcomed him with a cooking job with open arms and open legs.
Hit it with that big dick.
Papi said being locked up took a toll on him and he couldn't go back to the streets with the sun. So now you may be thinking, are him and the Samantha girl still together? And the answer is no. Kevin asks what's going on with him, you know, what you doing? Who are you doing?
Straight up?
Yeah, straight up.
I'm trapping.
What?
Yo, he said.
What?
After Chiron knocked Dollar Tree Lil Wayne with this chair, he got sent to Atlanta to juvie, met a guy, and upon release got on the block. He was pretty good at it, and he rose up. He talking about it is what it is. Kevin's like, that ain't what it is, and that's not you, Chiron. So of course, Blickety Black is like, nigga, you don't know me.
I don't know you.
Oh, well. Hey, look, he got you, man. I would have been like, right. Let's get to business though. You know, the question, the $1 million question that we keep tiptoeing around.
Why'd you call me?
Kevin's like, I told you, there was a dude who reminded me of you. And yeah, I heard that. Cut the shit. Kevin gets up to insert a coin in the jukebox and plays that song that he promised, which is called Hello Stranger by Barbara Lewis. Oh my God, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. There is no more dialogue in this scene. The men just stare into each other, soaking in the music and its lyrics. After closing, they walk back to Black's car so he can take him home. Quite gagged at the pimp ride, Kevin typically gets to work by the bus, but if he has little Kevin, then Samantha will pick him up. But not tonight. Word. Kevin does this thing, kind of like turning the mic back on Black, just how he did in the diner, and he's like, why you go all the way out to come see me? And he's not saying it, but what's up? Like, you know.
So where you gonna stay tonight, man?
Oh, you know where he's staying. When Chiron drops Kev off and gets out the car, his eyes lock right on that beach. Inside Papi Chulo's crib, he tells Black to make himself at home, saying he's gonna get out of his work clothes. Slip into something a little more comfortable. He's taking another long look at this machine standing in his kitchen, asking, you know, all these fronts, the grills, the car. Who is this? And Black says, I'm me, man. You know, I ain't trying to be nothing else. Kevin makes it evident he's not trying to hem him up now. You know, he just didn't expect this. So Black is like, well, what did you expect? And Kevin asks if he remembers the last time they saw each other. Again, like, why do we keep, you will always be my baby? Like, you just, it's always gonna be you. You know? And for a long time, our protagonist tried not to remember and forget those times. And when he got to Atlanta, he built himself from the ground up, built himself hard. As for Kevin, he knew he wasn't worth shit and never did anything he actually wanted to do. And all he could do was what folks thought he should be doing, admitting he was never really himself. Now he's got little Kevin, his job, another 18 months of probation. Black tells him that that's no life, and though Kevin isn't making any more than shoe money, he's got no worries. You know, even though Kevin says that he's content, you know, he's smiling and he's like, that's that Bob Marley shit. And then we see him turn his head for a second, he turns away and the smile completely drops. You know, you just, my baby is living a lie, okay?
You the only man that's ever touched me.
I volunteer!
Black also admits that he's never touched anyone since. And oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. There is this massive silence as they stare at each other, and a small smile comes on Kevin's face. We fade out and see the boys sitting on a bed in the same position they were on the beach. And finally, Chiron looks like he can let a guard down again. A vision of Little on the beach comes in, who is staring out into the ocean, and we pan in on him until he turns around and the screen goes to black.
In Moonlight, black boys look blue.
In presentation, this is a very simple story. This is a very quiet story. In my Letterboxd review, I made a note of what stood out to me in my most recent screening, which was the one where I was taking all my notes for it, and that is Barry Jenkins' directing style and how he allows his actors to take their time with their lines. I'm so sorry, I am a broken record. It's a top rule in screenwriting. I praise this so much. You need to show me, not tell me. We are not reading a book, we are watching a film, a motion picture. So here, check this. While I say that, I think that Moonlight it takes the show, don't tell, but in a variant way where we don't literally see everything that these characters are going through, but instead we are told in silence. We are told through the looks of the eyes. We are told in the body language. This is where the gaps are filled in. If I'm being completely honest here, I can't watch this film a lot. I grew to love it, but I just cannot watch it often. I have to, and I don't know. This is not necessarily a feel-good movie. This is quite a sad movie, and I'm not saying a movie has to be a feel-good movie to be a favorite. Not at all. A lot of my favorites are very dark, but by spacing my screenings out of a Moonlight, I like to give this film room to breathe. So every time I do revisit it, it just hits 10 times harder. The central theme we're shown here is the construction of masculinity. Everything that has happened to Chiron and the environment he was born in has forced this kid to grow up performing masculinity to survive. Man, what? The black community has a terrible, terrible problem with homophobia, and it's linked with Christianity. And I just, especially watching, this movie, this is about black men in the closet, I just think about all my brothers who have to grow up and, make that decision. Do I want to live my truth and walk the earth with a target on my back, or do I just want to be one of the boys and blend in? To quote a man who opens the film Paris is Burning, my favorite documentary that I also made a video on, you have 3 strikes against you in this world. Every black man has 2, that they're black and they're a male. But you're black, a male, and you're gay. You're gonna have a hard time. Juan is quite the subversion of the stereotypical black man. Although he is a drug dealer, he's extremely tender with Chiron, as if he was his own son, teaching him how to swim, teaching him how to walk through the world with his head up, teaching him to live his life how he wants to, providing him a safe emotional space with a secondary mother figure. What is masculinity though? It's such a complex but not really word. Everybody throws it out like candy. Mask for mask. I don't like femme, I like mask. Why are you femme? You're a boy, you should be masculine. Masculinity is literally defined as qualities and attributes that are characteristic of men or boys. And we all know that gender roles are things that were assigned socially. Let's not be naive here. Masculinity is something designed as emphasizing strength, leadership, but includes extremely toxic and rigid expectations like overbearing domination, emotional suppression. Traditional masculinity are things like stoicism, physical strength, competitiveness, independence, and healthy masculinity embraces leadership and strength, but it balances them with empathy, self-sacrifice, vulnerability. I read somewhere someone described masculine and feminine as a framework through which we interpret other human traits, and we don't have any true qualitative meaning apart from gender except for what we ascribe to them. That is such an incredible way to put that. Because there's not not one right way to be a man. Come on now. And that becomes more of a problem as you go further down the line in generations because of what was acceptable back then. When you adhere to a rigorous norm, that's when mental health issues and violence and substance abuse, all that mess comes swarming in. Chiron succumbs to violence, it seems, when we saw him in the car with the gun. The substance abuse is hinted at when he downs the wine after saying he doesn't drink. He adopted every physical trait of a drug dealer: gold teeth, muscles, the tough exterior, to protect Little, who is still buried deep inside. Boys are taught from a very young age that vulnerability is weakness. If you cry as a boy, you are more likely to hear, "Why are you crying? You're supposed to be tough. Be a man. Crying is for girls. Are you a girl?" And the way that it is enforced, even outside of parents, through your classmates and peers, and it's enforced through threats and violence. Like, this is bananas. It's crazy. Chiron is beat up from his classmates for being gay, for being other. When Principal Williams told him to press charges and he told her that she doesn't understand, that is very real. Pressing charges on somebody in the black community is seen as a punk move. If Chiron did that, he would not be a real man, right? He would be, and I'm going to use a word for this context, which, you know, it's very unpopular because a lot of men still use it when we talk about women. He would be seen as a bitch. Masculinity is something that is learned. We do not come out the womb like, "Oh, I have male anatomy, so I'm masculine." Ah, ha, ha, ha. No, that's not how that works, Bubba. That scene with all the boys comparing their penis sizes shows us how at even such a young age, these boys are observing what society sees as their most important aspect: their dick. And this goes for all men, but especially black men. Porn has poisoned the minds of millions and millions. We know this, okay? You know, this belief that every black man has a 10+ inch dick, the way that they are always framed as these big gorilla muscle dominant powerhouses. It's fucking disgusting, okay? This is a fetish. You know, I'm looking for BBC 11 inches only. I can't tell you how many times. I don't even want to bring this up, but like this, I'm keeping it real, okay? I cannot tell you the amount of times I've heard stories of black men wanting white men to call them the N-word in the bedroom. Same thing goes for the straight people, okay? There are a lot of black guys who are into white women saying the N-word in the bedroom, and I'm like, is this a power thing? You know, like, are we trying to reverse racism in the bedroom? Or I don't know. It's the whole spade thing. If race play is something that you are into, you know, whatever. I don't like to kink shame. However, I have to side eye you because something like that is rooted in dynamics that were and still are so detrimental to us as a community. And there's nothing wrong with having a preference. You know, I know that's a controversial statement, but that's the truth. You know, like, people are going to have a preference no matter what. But there is this little slippery slope, this thin line where a preference turns into fetishization. They've been saying that about white men preying on Asians, white people targeting black people. I don't, you know. The unpublished play this film is based on, In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue, is a direct commentary on how under a different light we see people for who they truly are, rather than the labels placed on them. Remember, Juan told Chiron this, and Chiron's immediate reaction was, "So your name is Blue?" And that beach scene is the film's thesis. What Juan says to him is the message here.
At some point, you gotta decide for yourself who you want to be. Can't let nobody make that decision for you.
The three names our protagonist is given through his life all represent identities imposed on him by others versus the one he struggles to claim for himself. I want to point out part 2 being named Chiron, and you're probably thinking, well, that's just his government name. But who gave him the name? Paula. She has her own version of how she would like her son to be. But furthermore, that second part is his teenhood, the ages where we really start to come into our own and we cross that middle road. Chiron was tired of the nickname Little given to him for being small and a target for bullying. He no longer wants to be a projection of how others see him. This is ownership. It's also the beginning of the grappling with his desires. The Chiron chapter is the raw, unfiltered version of this character before he adopts the hardened black persona for the final act. Barry has noted that in Terrell McCraney's play, by the way, not the author being the same name as the bully, that the name carries a mythological weight. Chiron means wounded healer. This boy carries deep emotional and physical wounds, yet still has the sensitivity and capacity for love. On this topic of identity and the true self, I think that everybody has that inner dialogue. Some people are like, I don't talk to myself out loud. Yeah, you do. When you're alone, come on now. But everybody has said to themselves at some point, who do I want to be? That's something every soul brought to this planet will ask themselves at some point in their lifetime. We live in a world where you are expected to perform a certain type of way. You're expected to talk a certain way, to dress a certain way, to like certain things. Nicholas Britell did the soundtrack for Moonlight, which is very famous for its chopped and screwed orchestral style, where he connects high art classical music with hip-hop culture of the South. As Chiron goes throughout the film, the music ages with him, starting light when he's little and going deeper as he ages. Quite a few songs are in the film that were not part of the original score, and they were presented in this chopped and screwed style, like Erykah Badu's Tyrone. I think you better call on Tyrone. What else? Classic Man by Jadina. You can be mean when you look this clean. I'm a classic man. That plays when Chiron arrives at Kevin's diner, symbolizing this new presentation to his old friend. Last thing I want to mention as far as identity goes is the parallel of Juan being called blue and Chiron being called black. Immediately makes me think of when people say they feel blue, right? I'm blue. If I was green, I would die. If I was green, I would die. If I was green. Okay, I know he's not actually saying that in the song. What the hell is that song even called? Isn't it like I'm blue dabba-dee dabba-doo or some shit? Like, I don't know. Not only was Juan telling Chiron he doesn't have to accept a name given to him by outsiders, but perhaps this statement about how when seen under this light, there is a truth that comes out. When Juan was stopped and picked out by that older woman, I think that she saw something in him. Now, what is that something? I don't know. Chiron being called black says everything in itself. His dark complexion, this black heart that formed when he went to juvie and got out on the streets. Paula even tells him when apologizing at rehab that his heart doesn't have to be black like hers. I know we're making a very, very intentional parallel between Juan and Chiron, but walk with me. Is there a possibility that Juan saw something in Chiron that reminded him of himself? Did Juan also question his sexuality as a child? Is he secretly gay? Maybe bisexual? Did he get into the drug life and create a shield of armor to protect himself? It would make all the sense in the world why he went out the way to help a kid who reminded him of himself. I don't know. I always saw the film kind of hinting that. I don't think that it's canon. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying that that is a way that the film can be read. Juan gave Chiron the father figure that perhaps he himself never had. This metaphorical baptism in the ocean, teaching Chiron how to swim, symbolizes this trust, this letting go, a rare moment of a black boy being allowed to be weightless. That's the vulnerability of the film. Another moment of intimacy, more romantically, would be all of Chiron's scenes with Kevin. That connection is built and expressed through silence, through touch and looks, specifically on the beach. These incredibly tender moments are always on the beach. Or just water, period. I'm telling y'all, Chiron is a water sign. Remember the scene where he dunks his face in the ice water? The first time was to numb the beating he received from the bullies, to numb the pain. And the second time was for what? Maybe aging? Or are we still freezing those emotions? Yeah, don't look at me like that. Y'all better open your eyes. Water is a very, very emotional symbol. By putting ice in water, it's like he's blocking these feelings. All my witches, all my witch viewers, I need y'all to back me up, because y'all can probably describe it better than I can. I'm not tripping. Somebody explain it better than me. There's a very spiritual element about water. It can give life when you water your plants, right? It can also take life away. Hurricanes, rainstorm. Every major turning point in this story has water in it. It's healing. And remember, in the final shot of the movie, right after we see Chiron on the bed in Kevin's arms, letting his guard back down, he's a kid again, back by the shore. The ocean is like a self-acceptance. Our protagonist has traveled through the fire of his trauma and returned to the water where he can finally be blue, his true self in the moonlight. I haven't said much about Paula because I don't know what it's like to live with a parent with a drug addiction, and if you experienced that in your childhood, my heart goes out to you. You came out on the other side, you survived, and I hope that there has been some resolution for you and for your parents as well. What I know about drug addiction, or should I say what I can theorize, is that people turn to it for escapism. I would think Paula turned to drugs because of the everyday struggles of being a single mother, perhaps some stuff that went down with Chiron's father. Barry Jenkins also had a mother who suffered from addiction, and the reunion with Black and Paula at rehab was very similar to him visiting his mother later in life. I love that scene. The acting is so powerful. And I love how there is this forgiveness, but there isn't reconciliation, because it doesn't happen like that. You know, this woman oh my God, she put him through years and years of trauma, and there's just so much, like the neglecting. It's, oh my God. By the way, just a little side random fact, I saw Brad Pitt's name during the credits as an executive producer and was like, what the helly? Barry had a meeting with Brad Pitt, who helped him get the necessary funds and a distribution deal with his company Plan B. Let me find out, Brad. Supporting these Black queer stories. And I heard that. Okay. You all right with me, Brad? I'm so glad this film won the Oscar, you know, even though low-key kind of feel like they was like, all right now, you know, y'all got a double whammy. We get this homo story and it's Black. You know, that's this one time. That's all you get now. Better eat it on up. And although I wanted to see The Morning After, oh my God, like that really would have just took it up a notch, you know, like to see both Kevin and Black tangled up in the sheets together. Maybe they didn't even go to sleep. Maybe they were up all night. It's right before dawn. Like, I just, give me something. I'm starving. Give me something. I'm starving. Love here is both dangerous, as seen with Kevin, and necessary, seen with Juan and Teresa, for survival. When you go through something like what Chiron went through, your mind will always be in a state of survival. So that's what he chose. Black was created, and Chiron chose safety and armor over intimacy. That's the story of thousands of Black men around the world. To all of my queer people, and more specifically to all my queer Black people who had a rough childhood, bitch, I would hug you right now if you were in the room with me. I see you, I appreciate you, you will always be family to me, and I'm glad that you're still here. What are your thoughts on Barry Jenkins' Moonlight? Drop your take down below. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I would love to have you. Consider giving me a like. It helps me out a lot. And turn on that bell notification so you don't miss a new video. Thank you to Grow Therapy for sponsoring this video. Make sure you check those guys out. You know, if you dodging them feelings, okay, get your booty in therapy. If you want to see the director's cut version of this video, head over to the Patreon and join the family. We're fully uncensored over there. You get to watch my videos 24 to 48 hours early before it hits YouTube, extended commentary. It's fun. It's a fun time. In the meantime, my friends, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of your spirit.